All right, so now that you have taken the notes and then gone through and tried the rest of these on your own, I'm going to walk you through how to find the answers so that you can check yourself, and you'll be able to skip through this video if you want. The next question there said that 21 7th grade students won the Physical Fitness Award. This is 15% of the students in the 7th grade. How many students are in the 7th grade? So since we just have part of the students, 21 is our part. It's not the whole group of 7th grade students. So I'm once again looking for my whole. So that means 15% of something equals 21. Change it into a decimal. Since I don't know what that is, I know I'm multiplying by a variable. And you can make it whatever you wanted. So I'm just going to use y. I'm multiplying, so I need to undo that by dividing. So when I do that, I find that there's 140 students in the 7th grade. And since this is just part, I know that my answer should be bigger. I also know that this is 15%. Well, 15% is really close to 10%. So I could multiply that times 10, and that should be close to what my answer is. So I can kind of do some common sense estimating to make sure that my answer makes sense and that it might be correct. Remember, I can also then take that number, put it back in here, and do 15% times 140 and see if I indeed get 21. This next one says your school raised 125% of its fundraising goal. The school raised $6,750. What was the goal? Well, I need to find 125% of something, and that was $6,750. You'll notice you raised more than 100% of your goal. So say your goal was $500. Well, if I raised 100% of my goal, if I met my goal, I would have raised $500. So obviously we've exceeded our fundraising goal. So our whole number here is actually going to be less than what we ended up with. So I need 125% of something equals $6,750. Remember, this is like 125 pennies, so this is like $1.25 of, once again, I need a variable. Just like y today, it doesn't matter, you can pick whatever variable you want there. And I'm going to divide both sides by that 1.25 or 1 25 hundredths. When I do that, since I know I exceeded my goal, that means my answer should be less. So it's going to look weird, but that's because my percent is over 100%. So my original goal was $5,400. And I beat it. I did better than what I wanted to do. This next one, we've kind of talked about this a little bit with percents in the last one, where I have gone out to eat and I have paid for the amount plus the tip. So it says the school football team went out for pizza and spent $195, including the tip. So that means I paid 100% of my bill plus a 20% tip. So this number right here actually represents 120% of the original bill. And it's saying what was the total before the tip. So it wants to know what was the original bill that I multiplied times my tip and that I then added. So we are adding those percents together. So this is the bill plus the tip, and that gave me my total. So $195 total. I don't know what my bill was, but I also have my tip. So I'm going to use 120% as my percent. So kind of similar to the one above it, 120% of something gave me what I ended up paying at the end. My bill should be less than my bill and my tip added together. So 120% of something equaled $195. I turned it into a decimal, and I divided both sides by 120. Or, sorry, 1 2/10 or 1 20 hundredths. So I found that my original bill was $162.50. So it makes sense that my bill for my food was less than my bill for my food plus my tip. So that means my bill for my food was $162.50. And then I must have tipped $32.50, and that's how I found my total. This next one says a salesperson receives a 3% commission on sales. Well, a commission means every time I sell something, I get some of the money that you paid to the store. So if I buy a sweater for $20 and I'm earning commission, I might get $3 out of that $20 gets paid to me as the salesperson working there. So a person receives a 3% commission on the sales. The salesperson sold $6,000 in product. How much did he earn in commission? This sounds weird because it's some new vocabulary, but this is 3% of $6,000. They're not going to give me $6,000. I am looking for the part that they are going to give me. They aren't giving me the whole thing. They are giving me a part. So if I sold $6,000 and I make 3% of that, I'm looking for the part. Remember, when I have a percent less than 10, I'm going to add that 0 in there. And I'm going to multiply that times 6,000. So I get $180 in commission, which makes sense. The store can't pay me. If they make $6,000, they can't pay me more than $6,000, or else they're going to go out of business. Next one says, to help sell more pies at the festival, Amy set the price for one pie at 40% less than what it would cost at her bakery. At the festival, she posted a sign that reads, Amy's Famous Pie is only $9 a pie. What is the price of one pie at the bakery? So this one, normally she sells her pies for 100% of the original price. She's going to take 40% of that original price off, which means she's actually charging customers 60% of what she normally would. So my percent is going to be 60% here. My whole is what she normally charges. The part is her sale price. Well, that's $9. So 60% of something is $9. So I set up that equation there, and I'm going to divide. So I find that normally she sells her pies for $15 at the bakery. But to help out this fundraiser, she's dropped the price to $9. I hope that helps. We'll be working with this next week as well. Let me know if you have any questions. Your next thing to do is the digits 3.1.